When it comes to VR, there are three names you typically think of: the Oculus Rift, Project Morpheus, and the HTC Vive. However, Morpheus is focused on console VR, so I've already lost interest. No, I'm here to talk about the other two competitors, the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know which product is better. The first thing to do when comparing something like this is to look at what the Rift and the Vive have in common. First of all is resolution. The Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive both have 1080 by 1200 pixel screens per eye, and both models also have a refresh rate of 90 Hz, so there isn't a huge amount to compare there. Another thing you don't really need to consider is price. It is very likely that both headsets have a very similar price, because if one is way more expensive than the other, no one is going to buy it. Now let's look at what we can compare. First, I would like to start off with the tracking system. On the Oculus Rift, the method of tracking is called constellation, and it is pretty straightforward. You have an infrared camera sitting on your monitor. Inside the headset are hidden LEDs that are picked up by the camera and tracks your position. As for the HTC Vive, their tracking technology is very appropriately named Lighthouse. The tracking system works the other way around. The headset picks up the light and the lighthouse emits it. A lighthouse is a box with some sensors inside it, just like the headset, but also two rotors, which spin around really fast. Each rotor has a laser. The rotor spins around, shining a light, just like a lighthouse. Based off maths, timing of light, and stuff like that, the sensors on the headset can find the Vive's exact location compared to the lighthouse. Constellation is perfect if you're sitting at your desk in your seat. I also imagine it would be less expensive due to its simplicity, which is a big bonus for Oculus. However, what makes the Lighthouse system so great is its modularity. It will be a lot easier to calibrate a device and add new sensors. More than one lighthouse can be used at the same time, and lighthouses can detect each other automatically and pinpoint each other's locations. With Constellation, the camera can't do that, so setting up more than one camera will be a lot more frustrating. Another thing Lighthouse is better at is range. With Oculus, using the headset in a living room situation will be not very ideal, to say the least. With Lighthouse, this isn't the case. Lighthouse is very good at working from various distances. So based off all that, I'm afraid HTC wins. The next thing I would like to look at are the ergonomics. I think it is very safe to say which device looks the best in this case. From the outside, the Oculus Rift looks very clean and stylish, while the HTC Vive looks... With Oculus, they have also built the final model in a way that puts the center of mass at the top back of your head, instead of at the front. As for HTC, their current developer model doesn't do that. I'm pretty sure something like that will be changed slightly in the future, but until then, Oculus wins. Just before I finish with this topic, I would like to point out that the integrated headphones on the Oculus are actually pretty good. I was very worried that they were going to be the downfall of the Oculus design, but according to reviews, they are very comfortable, crystal clear, and best of all, they block out all outside noise. So the third part of this comparison is looking at the accessories that come with the two products. Oculus have recently revealed their Oculus Touch. The Touch is a remote which is light and compact and looks like a Wii nunchuk, which actually works, and has a ring around it for tracking. It is very comfortable to use, and apparently it's very, very light. It has two face buttons, a joystick, a trigger, and a bumper for your middle finger. It can also detect when your fingers are not touching the buttons, allowing for thumbs up, pointing, and even giving someone the finger. I thought this was kind of gimmicky because I don't really see the practicality of it in games, but as far as gimmicks go, I have to say this one is pretty cool. There's one small downside to the Oculus Touch though. It won't be ready in time for the release of the Rift. This is a bit of a disappointment, but in return you get an Xbox controller right from the start. I have to say, this is very smart on Microsoft's part, as it is a great way to encourage players to use the Xbox One or at least Windows 10. As for the Rift, a controller works really well with it and is absolutely fine for the time being. In fact, racing games and even Valkyrie work better with a controller. The Vive will come with 2 controllers, which are a mixture of the PlayStation Move, Lighthouse and the Steam controller. Personally, I do not like the look of these controllers. They look very bulky, but apparently they're quite light and comfortable, even if it doesn't look it. I know aesthetics aren't the most important part, but if you're selling a product, at least make it look nice. The Vive controllers also have 1 less button than the Rift. This is worrying for me, as I'm wondering how developers will be able to support both the Oculus Touch and the Vive controllers at the same time without just forgetting about the extra button on the Touch. So, this round is definitely won by Oculus. Finally, I would like to talk about the software. HTC are working with Valve to develop steamvr, and Oculus are creating Oculus Home. Oculus have support from Microsoft and Facebook. So far, reviews of their software are pretty positive. I believe it will work well. They are going to have a flatter design with some VR elements, because from the testing they found out, gamers want to quickly switch from one game to another and not waste any time navigating some complicated 3D world where you have to walk around in order to visit your next game. I have to agree, this is a pretty good call, and very interesting to see what the final version turns out to be like. As for steamvr, not much has been said on that side of things, but I am very much expecting a glorified big picture mode, just like SteamOS. I know that sounds horrible, but it's Valve. Unless they charge people for it, everyone will love them anyway. I'm afraid Oculus wins again. So now, looking at the points, it's clear to see that the Oculus wins, right? Well, yeah, technically it does, but I still think the HTC Vive is better, and here's why. Oculus is great for someone who is going to be sitting down all day playing their games, but the moment they want to stand up and walk around, it becomes pretty much useless. People are saying they don't want to walk around their room and don't have the space for it anyway, which I completely understand perfectly, but surely you're going to want to try it out at least once. And just knowing that I have the choice to be able to walk around or sit down with my headset is enough to make me know that HTC Vive is the winner.